an inaugural episode of Flashpoint 2.0, Celebrity Spotlight Edition. I'm your host, Josh Cleveland. In today's episode, we're going to visit back to AniMinneapolis 2004 with a little host known as David Vincent. Yes, the voice actor extraordinaire who has been in many projects, both anime and video game and even live action movie. David Vincent is a professional voice actor / television producer based in Los Angeles, California. He has lent his voice to a variety of animation, anime, and video game titles, as well as numerous national commercials for television and radio. David was nominated Best Voice Actor in an Anime by the American Anime Awards for his work in Gun Time Sword. Some of his best-known roles include Grimmjow Bleach, Li Shi King in Code Geass, Van from Gun and Swords, Seiji from Durarara, Arthur August Angel, Blue Exorcist, and Daisuke Nagase Persona 4, among countless others. For this episode, I traveled to AniMinneapolis 2014 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. There, I attended a Bleach with David Vincent panel. This was a panel approximately an hour long that visited every aspect of Dave Vincent's life. Not just Bleach, but the main premise was Bleach. For all those who are unfamiliar with David Vincent's character from Bleach, he plays Grimmjow Jaggerjaques, who is a cocky, self-arrogant, loathsome character who is under the righteous, unrighteous, or whatever you want to call it, reign of Aizen, who is a previous Soul Reaper captain from the Soul Reaper Society. Now, all those who aren't familiar with the Soul Reaper Society, please watch Bleach and you'll know what I mean. It is one kick-ass show. But anyway, Dave Vincent pretty much opens himself up to any question, that being, what he's done for experience as a voice actor, that being all of his grounded characters from other anime, that including Durarara, which I particularly enjoy. Let me just present to you the very first inaugural episode in Technicolor of David Vincent's panel on Bleach at AniMinneapolis 2014. And thank you, AniMinneapolis 2014, for allowing me to shoot this footage and show it on YouTube without sending your lawyers after me to sue me. I appreciate that very much. Anyway, here is David Vincent at the Bleach with David Vincent panel. Enjoy.
So, what's your favorite character other than Grimmjow, right?
Ukiura.
Oh, yeah.
Ukiura is my favorite, and I mentioned this in a panel yesterday, that honestly, like, if there was one other character that I would have loved to have played, it would have been Ukiura. Just so that I could be emo. Just like Ukiura. And Tony Oliver does such a great job with that melancholy voice. I love that character. I would have loved to have played him. That, and then obviously Ichigo. He's such a great character. Johnny's a friend of mine. He just does such a great job with Ichigo. So, really, really good characters. Questions? Yes, Brock. Yes. Would I ever cosplay as Grimmjow? If I lost about 20 pounds, yeah, I would definitely cosplay as Grimmjow. Actually, I did a convention in Florida, and they had superimposed my face into a Grimmjow costume on a poster, for a promotional poster for the convention. And it was actually the coolest thing ever. I was like, dude, I could totally rock cosplaying Grimmjow. I was at a convention in Portland, Oregon, Moricon, and I saw the coolest Grimmjow cosplay. This guy had taken, and he had set up, he has the hollow, he had set up a camera so that you could actually see through his stomach and out the other side. I still can't really wrap my head around how he did it, but you can actually see through his stomach and see through the back. He would move his hand in the back and you can see it. So he had a camera on his back. It was really cool. But yeah, I would definitely cosplay as Grimmjow. Such a cool character. I would also cosplay as Vaughn from Gunsword.
Yeah.
With that cool cowboy hat, you know?
Yeah.
Such a cool character. Yes?
One of your favorite game characters you voiced?
I'm sorry?
One of your favorite game characters you voiced?
One of my favorite game characters that I have voiced. Two of my favorites. First, Jin Kisaragi from Blaze Blue. I love Jin Kisaragi because he's so crazy. For any of you guys who are not familiar with Blaze Blue, Jin Kisaragi is a guy who has got a weird obsession with his brother, Ragna, the Blood Edge. And whenever Ragna comes near him, he just goes nuts. And I love going and taking Jin to the crazy level. He's a really, really fun character. But one of my favorite other characters is Martial Law from Tekken. And the reason why is because I'm not really much of a gamer, I'm a button masher. But Martial Law, Tekken I used to play years and years before I ever got to voice Martial Law. Also, as a kid, Bruce Lee was my hero growing up. And Martial Law is based loosely on Bruce Lee. And so I love the fact that I get to play that character and get paid to go, what the? You know, and when I used to do that as a kid watching Enter the Dragon, and now I get paid to do it. So, yeah, I love Martial Law, I love Tekken. Funny story, actually, I was in Cork, Ireland, which they pronounce Cork. And I was sitting at a pub, and I was having a pint, as they do over there. And I was just minding my own business, and this guy sits next to me, and he goes, you're not from around here, are you? No, I'm not. Oh, where are you from? I'm from California. Oh, what brings you to Ireland? Oh, you know, I was at a convention. What kind of convention? Oh, you know, the anime convention. What do you do for a living? I'm a voice actor. Anything I know. And so I listed off all this stuff. And I come, and he said, well, I don't know that. And I told him, like, well, you're familiar with Tekken? He goes, oh, yeah, I know Tekken. And he said, well, I do the voice for Martial Law. And he just literally lost it. He's like, oh my God! Fellas! We got the voice for fucking Martial Law in the pub! So, they're like Googling me on their phones. They're like, holy shit, it really is him! The voice for Martial Law! And the whole pub is like buying me pints of beer. It was crazy. So yeah, Martial Law is absolutely one of my favorites. Anybody else? Yes, Brooke?
What?
You had a question?
You should tell them about the story of when you were auditioning for it at the Japanese.
Some of you may have already heard this, but Martial Law, when I was, I actually had booked the parts, and I was really excited to be the voice for Martial Law. And I was in the booth, and they have a big window, so you could actually see the producers and the director and the whole crew out there on the other side. And I don't get nervous when I voice characters anymore just because I've done it for so long. But this one I was a little bit nervous just because this was a character I was really enamored with and excited to get to voice. And so I had started the session and they're like, okay Dave, are we ready? You're gonna do a Martial Law call and we'll roll in action. And so I started off with my first, what the? And through the window, like I'm looking, and there's Japanese producers that had come over from Japan to make sure that I'm doing it right. And the Japanese producers look at each other and they go, and they're looking at me and I'm like, oh my God, they think I stink. And the Japanese producer looks at me and he goes, oh, you're the best Bruce Lee of any white man I know. So then I knew that I had arrived officially as Martial Law, so it was great. It's a good story. Yes, we got a couple. You sir, first.
Okay, Do you think it'd be any benefit if you were a professional writer to get into the script writing business?
Yes. Do I think that it would be any benefit if you were a professional writer to get into script writing?
Yeah, I write non-fan fiction. I write original fiction.
Yes.
I've dealt with that for 9 years, so.
Absolutely. Honestly, if you're a writer, write. That's what you have to do. And you can write scripts or write for anime or, absolutely. That's a huge part of it. If you're a writer, write. And then you can write fiction, you can write, the sky's the limit. And absolutely, that would be a very wise move for you.
Is there any professional writers on your team? Do they write like Sonny Strait writes comics when he gets done from the booth? Is there anybody else that does any professional writing on their free time?
Alex Von David, Alexander Von David is his name. A wonderful, wonderful director, and I believe that he writes as well. Absolutely. I would say most of the folks that write for anime write other stuff.
Okay.
So it's a natural match. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good question.
Thanks.
What's your favorite Grimmjow's moves to make? I guess in general. Which one?
Sorry?
Which one of his powers do you like the best? I guess is what I'm asking.
His setup. Or the grinding Pantera. When he goes into his Pantera move is actually one of my favorites. Because he just, the power. I don't know, and there's no spoilers here, you guys have seen it, right? So when he goes into his release mode, and I remember recording this because I literally threw my voice out, but it was the grind Pantera! And Johnny at Ichigo is just like, oh my god, that much power, and it just from his release mode, it was my favorite. Amazing. Yeah, very cool. Go ahead.
How did you enjoy all the awkward moments that Grimmjow had?
Awkward moments?
Yeah.
We'll name a couple.
Some of them was how Grimmjow couldn't understand why Ichigo was just so much better than him and stuff. Even though Grimmjow absorbed so many souls.
I enjoyed all of it. I'll tell you one of my favorite moments, and I don't know if it's necessarily awkward, but do you remember the scene where it's Menlolly and Lolly, and he goes in and just destroys those two? I loved the moment, and I don't think it was necessarily awkward, but I loved when he went in and basically destroys them. They're on the floor, or which one of the characters is on the floor, and she's like, "Stay away from me! Don't come near me!" And he just goes and goes, BOOM! I just made you jump. Awesome. That's one of my favorite moments. I mean, there's lots of all kinds of moments with Grimmjow. Such a fun character. Question? Yes.
What do you think is your release
my personal Zanpakuto would be Mr. Clean. The Mr. Clean release form. If you have other questions. Yeah, exactly. It will come in handy when you're a kid. Yes?
Yeah. I guess it's just my personal opinion, but don't you think Aizen, the character, would have been, I think he would have been cooler if he had kept those glasses, because they just kind of add to his character, and I wish they hadn't gotten rid of them.
Yeah, I mean, physically, looking at Aizen, I think that it was, it would have been cool if they kept them, but Aizen, I think, is just such a cool character regardless. He's just awesome. You and I were on the elevator this morning. What was the character that you were talking about?
Right, so I came up with this idea for an anime, and the idea is, so this witch casts a spell on a bagel, turning a human into a bagel, and the only way the bagel can return to its human form is it has to eat every single kind of food in the entire world. So
Okay, speak up. Say it a little bit louder.
So the bagel has to travel around the world and eat every single different kind of food there is in the whole world. And his name is Chirpy the Bagel.
Chirpy the Bagel.
Yeah. And so I was wondering if you could do a voice for Chirpy the Bagel.
Another voice.
Another voice, yeah, other than the one on the elevator.
Yeah, the racier one that you said.
Chirpy the Bagel, who his powers are going around the world and eating all the foods that exist.
Yeah.
And Chirpy the Bagel, what's his goal?
His goal is to return to his human form after he's devoured every single different kind of food.
But he has to defeat the witch first.
Right.
And why is his name Chirpy?
My phone was going
Because his phone's
in the elevator.
Because what?
My phone was going off of the elevator and it was making a chirping noise.
That's how you came up with Chirpy Bagel.
Yeah.
Well, we were watching Angel Beats and I mispronounced it. I said Bagel Bites.
That's the name of the
anime's Bagel Bites.
Oh, I've got a perfect voice for Bagel Bites.
Yeah.
Chirpy the Bagel. Here's what I would voice for Chirpy the Bagel. The fuck, man? We're in fucking Minneapolis and they don't even know how to make a fucking bagel here. Huh? New York bagels, right? I honestly, the reason why I thought of that is because when I was living in New York City, when I first got my start as a young actor, I was amazed that people actually spoke like that. And I was in a bagel shop in Manhattan, and I see this little kid, had to have been 5 years old, and there's a mirror on the wall of this bagel shop. And his mom is talking to somebody else saying, like, I don't know, I was in California, they don't even know how to make a bagel. And this kid is looking at himself in the mirror, 5-year-old kid, and he's looking at himself and he goes, is I is, or is I ain't a jerk? Did I just see that? I just witnessed a 5-year-old in that New York accent. So that's Chirpy the Bagel. Chirpy the Bagel, he's a jerk. What do you want from me, Chirpy the Bagel?
That's perfect.
Oh, right?
Perfect.
It's a perfect voice for Chirpy the Bagel. Chirpy the Bagel is now going to be one of my characters, okay? That's awesome. Chirpy. What do you want? Is he or is he ain't a jerk? Chirpy the Bagel. That's how we come up with characters.
Let me pause that for a moment and let's just iterate what I've been talking about earlier about my little anime. Chirpy the cheerful bagel. Actually, it was a complete asshole. Dave Vincent. Now, he didn't have to do this, but I have to say that Dave Vincent, or David Vincent, is one of the coolest voice actors out there. And one of the coolest, I mean, not by just awesome, I'm just like, get down. He's like a cool cat. You know what I'm talking about? He's so awesome. You know, I mean, anybody that walks up to a voice actor and they just say, you know what, I'll do a voice for you. He has a really good record in my book. I have to say that I was very impressed about the whole situation, and he pointed us out, which is like, you know, one of those moments, you know. I can't believe he did that for us, and it blows me away. But anyway, if you want to learn more about Chirpy the Bagel, you know, that butthole bagel, just continue to keep on watching out for Flashpoint 2.0's wonderful blog, and there should be more coming on Chirpy the Cheerful Bagel, the sourdough bagel, to come. Back to the panel.
Any other questions? No. I slept last night, so I did not. Yeah, I know. Luckily for me, I did not go to the break last night, so I was sleeping. But I'm going to, because I think that's hilarious. This is the story, what Brooke was saying yesterday in my panel, of going through the drive-thru and using a ridiculous voice to order your food, and then when you get up to the to pay for your food or whatever, your food, you are obviously normal. Hi, could I have a Whopper? Yes.
And translation from Japanese to English.
Yeah.
In the anime for Bleach.
Yeah.
Sometimes they change like the phrases and stuff.
Yes.
Do you get any participant, like, do you get anything to do with that? Like, if you wanted to completely alter something from the Japanese to English,
Yeah.
with your character, can you do that?
Not as an actor. You can make suggestions, okay? So what happens is the writers, okay, well, they work with the translators and they translate it. They have to write dialogue that matches the lip flap for anime, specifically, okay? So it has to match what's happening on screen. That's a challenge, okay? Because you have to make dialogue that is going to make sense to an English-speaking audience, but also have it make sense, okay? Oftentimes, when we are recording on an anime, we'll have dialogue that's too long for the lip flap, or it's too short, or whatever. And so we will often change dialogue on the fly while we're there. So as an actor, sometimes, yeah, we get to give a little input, but most of the times it's the writer and the director. They're the ones that decide the dialogue. And I know that, like, you're honestly, you're at the mercy of your directors. You have to listen to the director. This is just a funny side note, but I know that when I first did Grimmjow, I did Grimmjow in the video game first, okay, for about 2 years before he came out in the anime. And so I had always called him Grimmjow, or Grimmjow. And when Wendy was directing me in the anime, she's like, no, you need to pronounce it Grimmjow, okay? And so I pronounced it Grimmjow. And one of the lines I think is, remember my name, Soul Reaper, Grimmjow Jaggerjaques, okay? And you better pray that you never hear it again! Because if you do, you're a dead man, I promise. Sorry, I had to complete the line. Anyway, I watched it when it broadcast on Cartoon Network, and the next day, the forums like lit up. They're like, Grimmjow? Like, what on?
Yeah, I was wondering if, in the voice of Grimmjow, if you could do the iconic Dragon Ball line, it's over 9,000. Have the same intensity of Vegeta, but do it in Grimmjow's voice.
What do you want me to say?
It's over 9,000.
Oh, in Grimmjow's
Grimmjow's
voice.
voice.
Okay. It's over 9,000! Soul Reaper. You had a question?
Is there a reason that, I can't make Bleach, is there a reason that, she called Arthur on the same body?
Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, for those of you who haven't seen, anybody watching Blue Exorcist? So the reason why she calls Arthur Auguste Angel Baldy, which is random because he's got this big, beautiful head of blonde hair. I have no idea. And I even asked, Tony Oliver directed that series, and I even asked Tony, like, what is going on with this? And he's like, you couldn't explain it to me. I don't know. But it's kind of an inside joke, I guess.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that you are bald?
No. It had nothing to do with the fact that, in fact, I'm bald. But, yeah, I guess it was like a kind of an inside joke. Humor. Yeah.
What was it like working on Inaugaral? What was your favorite moment from the series?
My favorite moment from the series, honestly, working on Durarara was a lot of fun. It's an interesting series. There's a lot going on in it. It's got an all-star cast. A lot of my colleagues that I enjoy working with. I would say my favorite moment of working on Durarara just had to be the fact that I was playing a 15-year-old in love with a disembodied head. It doesn't get any better than that. So, yeah, it's a great series. Go ahead.
Have you done any work on Devil May Cry?
I have not worked on Devil May Cry. There's a lot of anime. No, that one is one. You and then you.
What did you think when Psycho was introduced into Durarara?
You know what? At that point in time, we were going through the series. I hadn't seen the series, and so when we're recording the series, you only get little chunks. Sometimes when we record an anime, the directors will ask you not to watch the series because they want you to really just listen to them and take their direction. Sometimes they will actually give you a copy of the series so that you can watch it before you go and record it. So at that point, to answer your question specifically, I had not seen the series. I wasn't familiar with it at that point. So.
Oh, okay.
You had a question, yes?
The characters that you played that died,
Yeah.
what was your favorite death scene?
My favorite death scene. And this is so funny. That's the conundrum about being a voice actor is you know it's you always have to die somewhere. You know, it's like come on, can I just keep working? Anyway, my favorite death scene. In an anime or in anything?
Anime.
Animes. Okay. Well, this is a Bleach panel. Kogakuchi. Did you guys know who he is?
Yeah.
Koga? Yes?
Oh.
Okay, well, he had a pretty good death scene, but I can't say it was a death scene because Grimmjow we don't know if he's dead. I heard that he comes back in the manga.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm hoping that he's still alive. But I kind of, I would say rather than Koga, I would say it has to be Grimmjow. And the reason why is because it's a cliffhanger. You don't know. You don't know. And it was fun for you. Good question. We got two. You, and then you. Go ahead.
Okay, it's kind of connected to his. With like Grimmjow's death scene, do you think if he comes back, he'll be extremely mad that Ichigo like hated him when he was dying?
Knowing Grimmjow, yes. Grimmjow seems to me like a character that would hold a grudge. But I think that he would be cool about it. He would pretend like he's not pissed off. But then I think that he would just be saving up to unleash some holy hell on Ichigo. In my opinion, I think that's very Grimmjow.
Do you ever watch the anime after you got the voicing and it was like, was that made because it was so perfectly with the character?
What he asked is, do I ever watch the anime afterward, and do I question whether it's me voicing it because it went really well? No, not because I'm just that good of a voice actor. But yeah, I have actually watched stuff that I've done where I'm like, wow, that's pretty damn good. You know? Yeah, I have. Where it didn't sound like me or whatever, and then I have. As a matter of fact, on a couple of video games, I had to do that and play it back, and yeah, that's me, okay. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, I have done that. There was a video game that I did, I can't remember what it was, but they had to speed up my voice. So we recorded the whole video game, and what I'll do is, because I don't have the time to play all these games, so I'll go and I will YouTube it and watch clips just to see, and then I use that on my demo reel. And they had sped up my voice throughout the entire video game, so it sounded like me on helium. And I had no idea. I'm like, I thought I did this game, but it doesn't sound like me. Is this me? Yeah. It can be weird sometimes, yeah.
Are there any more new enemies coming out that should be voicing?
Yes.
That you can talk about.
No. Just honestly, I've got some cool stuff coming up. Just keep your eyes out or ears out for David Vincent. So I've got something coming up that I can't announce.
Are you the main character?
Yes. So, yeah.
Do you know what happened when Chad's voice actor changed to English dub and then Kenpachi too?
You know what happens when voice actors change in an ongoing series? There are two things that can happen. One is that the production company changes, and there could be a different production company doing it. They just want to hire different voice actors. Or two is the voice actor comes, has something else happening in their personal lives, and they can't continue. I know that I can't mention names, unfortunately, but you know, if there's a death in the family or something along those lines, yeah, that voice actor is going to be unavailable, and they have to recast. So sometimes it can be personal reasons, sometimes it can be just because the production company changes. Yeah, there are kind of a myriad of different reasons why a voice actor changed. You know, I don't know why. I think in Fate Zero, as a matter of fact, I did the voice in Fate Stay Night in the same series of Assassin. And in Fate Zero, I was brought in to do Gilgamesh in Archer. And Grant George, I think, was the voice actor who did that character in Fate Stay Night. And I have no idea why, but the production company wanted to recast. And so they held auditions, and I wound up voicing Gilgamesh in Fate Zero. So yeah, it can be a number of different reasons why they'll switch voice actors out. And the same thing goes, if you're doing a voice in a video game that also is an anime series, you're not guaranteed to be the voice in the anime series, and vice versa. That's just the way it goes. And I know I've already told this story, but I had to literally fight for 2 years to do Grimmjow in the anime series after I had done him in the video game. So I was absolutely not guaranteed. In fact, in Blaze Blue, I've done Blaze Blue voiceover game, or I'm sorry, I've done the video game for years now, for like 6 years. And there's an anime that's going to be coming out, and I have no idea whether I'll be asked to do the voice or reprise my role in the anime. You don't know. Yes.
Do you have a low budget?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a price range? Like, if like some low budget anime group like asks you for a voice, but they're not paying enough, and you just kind of like not answer back or something?
What he asked me is if I have a price range that I'll work at. Where? Do I have a budget? I have, yeah. I mean, there are. It just depends. If it's, you know, I mean, this is my career. This is what I do for a living. And so, if it's something, if it's a project that I believe in, I'll do it. I'll do it.
And they shows that like crap half the time, like they show in Japan sometimes.
Yeah. It just depends. I mean, there has to be a reason for me to do it. If it's not paying well, if it's not paying very well, then it just there has to be another reason for me to do it. So, yeah.
Would you ever doing a bridge series like for YouTube?
Huh?
Would you ever doing a bridge series? Like
In a bridge series?
Like for YouTube or something?
Yeah, I could possibly do that. Yeah.
That would be weird.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I love doing fun stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. I would totally do stuff like that. I've done lots of crazy stuff. I got friends that do YouTube stuff. So, yeah.
Has there been any like legal issues that come up between like doing like you do one series and then you want to do another, but you're unable to do that series because the one company that you worked for doesn't want you to do another production company's work?
Conflict of interest?
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, I have not had that happen with animation or video games. What does happen, and what a lot of you don't know, is that we, as a voice actor, a big part of our income comes from TV commercials and radio commercials. Those, yes, absolutely. What happens is, say I just did a commercial for Carl's Jr. I think it's Parties here. Okay, so I just recorded that a couple weeks ago. Now that means that I can't record another commercial for McDonald's. I can't record another commercial for Wendy's or Burger King, because now if that commercial is running, I can't be that voice for that commercial and then another one at the same time. So with advertising, in acting for advertising, yeah, there's definitely conflicts, and you're forbidden from doing another competitor's product until your ad stops running it. And usually the way that they do that is you'll have a conflict. That conflict will last for like a year.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a great question. Nobody ever asked that. But not with anime so much.
Okay.
Anime, you can do as many voices as you want.
All right.
Good question. Never been asked that one. Yes. No. Yes.
As for the talk, what are you, how do you feel about your relations to the other side?
How are my relations with the other Espada? Grimmjow is in love with Loopy. I'm just kidding. You know, I mean, Grimmjow cares about himself. That's what, honestly, Grimmjow's number one. And he cares about number one, and number one is Grimmjow. That's what I love about this character, is he's all about himself. He's arrogant, and he knows what he wants, and he goes after it. He doesn't care what anybody, even Lord Isaac, okay? He doesn't care. He's doing his own thing, and that's what I just love about the guy. He's such a cool character.
Oh.
Yes?
Yeah, it reminds me, one of my favorite scenes is where Aizen's having this little tea party for all the Espada. Yep. And yeah, so you're about to get up and like, I'm Grimmjow, I don't care, I'm going to fight. Exactly. And then Aizen's like, sit down, and like, doesn't do a thing, he just releases his spiritual pressure, and you're like, verbal, non-verbal, like, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It just stops him in his tracks. Yeah. I love that. That's actually one of my favorite scenes. Yeah. I love that scene, and I love cuts his arm off. That was a great scene. That was fun to record. Screaming. Go ahead.
Can you tell me how, in Grimmjow's voice, tell me how it felt to fight Shinji?
To fight Shinji?
Yeah, in Grimmjow's voice.
Shinji's a punk-ass bitch. Who voices Shinji?
I don't know.
I can't remember. But I remember recording that, and because the voice actor, he's a wonderful voice actor, but that scene is so intense, and I remember recording that scene, and in that fight scene, and just them going at each other, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, bitch, you know? Yeah, that was a good scene. Yes.
Kind of two questions.
Yeah.
First one is you voice act in the same room with the same other characters, right?
No.
Okay.
Very good question. But no, we actually, in anime specifically, for kids' cartoons and animation that is original animation from the States, we record, yes, in the same room with a script, and it's like reading a script, you know, live. But for anime, and for video games, we record separately. We're in there by ourselves because it's more a technical type of voice acting because we have to match that lip flap of what's happening in the animation that's already been done in Japan. So, what was the second part?
Oh, it was kind of...
That was it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, you have to, we do it separately, individually. Unless you're doing Walla. And Walla is the background stuff that you see like in a courtyard, and you've got all these people in the background. And the, hey, what do you have for lunch today? That type of stuff, that yeah, they'll get a group of us in there. Yeah?
Do you ever like go online and like see fan-made comics and you're like, there's no way my character would ever do that, you're such a jerk?
You know, I haven't read the fan fiction so much, but I love looking at the fan art. I've seen so much cool fan art of just different drawings and different paintings of different characters that I've done, including Grimmjow, of course, that I have been very impressed with. Really, really cool art. And you know what? One of my favorite things is autograph sessions. Is sometimes folks, attendees will come in and bring their art that they have drawn for me to sign for them, or they've given me the art as well. And to me, that's a talent that I don't have. I don't write. I'm not a writer, okay? And so people who can write, I'm very impressed with. People who can draw or paint. That type of artistic ability is just beyond me. So I have a lot of respect and admiration for people who can do that. Yes, go ahead, Brooke.
You should do a panel with his endeavors when he's doing his Oscar fan fiction.
I should. I would love to do that. I would love to do that with DC.
Oh my lord.
That sounds like it was a lot of fun. You know what I'm going to do next is, and Kyle did this at another convention, and it was 50 Shades of Grey, but have the voice actors line up and reading these passages from 50 Shades of Grey in different character voices is always a lot of fun. All right, I've got time for one last question because we're actually at 11 o'clock, so one last question. Yes, you sir.
So when you did the voice for Grimmjow, were you watching as it was happening, watching the anime as you were recording the voice? Like,
you mean as it was broadcast on Cartoon Toonami? No. Yes. Well, yes and no. The lead time that when I was recording that was, I think, like 4 or 5. No, long. 8 weeks. So it was somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks. We would record, and then between recording and broadcast. So it was about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, and then the second part, the final fight scene between Grimmjow and Ichigo, when Ichigo just all of a sudden found whatever strength he put on his ass.
In Wakamuga, right?
Yep, yeah. And just like stopped Grimmjow dead in his tracks and took him out. How did that make you feel, seeing like recording that?
You know what? That's actually a good question. It made me frustrated because I loved the character so much. I did not want him to get beat. I did not want Ichigo to have a one-up on Grimmjow because I love the character. He's such an awesome character. So yeah, it was very frustrating to answer your question, but exhilarating at the same time because I was getting to voice, one of my absolute favorite characters. But really, really good question. All right, well, I think that is our time this morning. Thank you guys for coming at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning and putting up with my sleepy self. I've got an autograph session at 3 o'clock today if you guys want to come and say hi. And I've got cool posters and all sorts of fun stuff there for you as well. So thank you guys for coming, and it's honestly a privilege for me to get to come and get invited to the conventions to come and talk to you guys and to get to meet you guys. So I appreciate you guys coming, and I enjoy it. Thank you.
There it was, the very first panel I bring to you on this show. My take on David Vincent's panel, I really enjoyed it a lot. Actually, I didn't enjoy it. No, I freaking loved that panel. Holy crap, David Vincent's awesome. My take on it, if I were to give that panel a 1 to 10, 1 being like freaking sucky, and 10 being like freaking awesome, I give him, now, Vegeta said it best, it's over 9,000! Oh yeah, it was that good. It was like being in kindergarten all over again, just being excited for Christmas. It was, the whole friggin' thing was just like one big exciting thing.
Hey Josh, this is David Vincent, the voice of Grimmjow Jaggerjaques. Watch your step, Soul Reaper!
Oh my gosh. David Vincent left me a message. Holy crud, I can't believe it. Thanks, Dave! Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and man, I'm going to give you a lot more. I hope you're having a great day. I know I'm having a great day. Until the next episode, please subscribe to my channel. I really love it when people subscribe, so I don't have to self-inflict myself with a whip. Until next time, I'm Josh Cleveland, your host, and for another Flashpoint 2.0 Celebrity Spotlight. Until then, see you next time. Booyah!